Hi y'all, Jordan Schilleci here with Joe & Co Realty Group, and we are going to head over to the blog today and check out a new blog post. So if you have never visited the website before, you can see the most recent blog post slide across the top right here, and if you scroll down you can see 3 of our featured categories. The most recent blog post will always be featured right here, a little bit about section, most popular blog posts, and then the rest of them are featured down below, and you can even load more. So the website and everything is going to be linked below. Accidentally clicked. So there's a mortgage calculator. You can search by category. There's just a ton of content here. So here we reloaded. The blog post that we are featuring today is this one right here, all about this area they call Klein, which can be found in Spring, Texas. So I'm going to open this blog post up right here, and we're going to dive right in. So let me preface this post by saying you might hear me say this a lot, but side note, I'm very excited, especially when I get to write and when I get to write for you. I love nothing more than educating others around our North Houston suburbs, and this place called Klein holds a very dear place in my heart. It was where I was born. I was born here in 1986, and while this post isn't my story, I know I lived here until I was 4, and then I moved away and I came back when I was 17. My heart has always been called to Klein. My dad spent many of his years growing up in Champion Forest, while my grandfather operated his insurance office right down the street. Even though our last name might not be Klein, I feel the love for Klein still runs within the blood in my and our veins. And it is where I currently call home. So I know boast all about many suburbs of North Houston, and it's true, Klein is the one I call home. Catch me without my realtor hat on, and I will tell you how amazing my girls' elementary school is. I will tell you how we have now purchased our second home within Klein and how we held on to the first one to keep it as an investment property. I'll tell you about the brand new resort-style swimming pool just constructed that opened October last year within my neighborhood. I will tell you how I walk my girls to and from school every day, how my kids are now in their second season of Klein soccer, and I could go on and run on sentences and all. So I want to start this post with the history of Klein and the basics you find through a brief Google search, and then I'll jump to the meat and potatoes. So if I were y'all, I would jump over to the website. You can read about all of the history of Klein. I am not going to dive deep into that today. I'm going to let you discover that on your own, just because you might think it's boring. You know, not everyone likes super nitty-gritty history. So something cool about Klein is that it is actually part of Spring. So residents of these zip codes right here can use Klein as their postal city, but you can also use Spring. So the zip code I feature most and that most consider Klein would be 77379. A lot of people think of Klein as in where Klein ISD is. So here within Klein we have tons of parks and tons of recreation. I dive into that in this section here. So we have Meyer Park. The Harris County Precinct 4 operates a 55-acre facility along Cypress Creek. There is this Kickerillo Misher Preserve that's brand new that people love. Canoe launch. There's so many small parks scattered throughout the community, and so I have all that here to you. So my words to you, I want to tell you why I chose Klein. We chose Klein because of its amazing schools, the neighborhoods with character, and the rich history. Many of the people I call friends happen to live in my neighborhood, and so many of them have been calling Klein home since before they had children. There are newer areas of Klein and older ones, but we're all one big happy family. Earlier, I was on the phone with a lady who was considering the move from Hawaii to Texas and had the Klein area on her mind as a good place to settle. She had done a bit of research before our phone call, and I was probably the icing on the cake for helping her understand why so many families call Klein home. So that's the real reason why I created this blog post, because I know Klein was on her mind, and I wanted to provide more content than what was already on a brief YouTube video. So the location here is amazing. We are perfectly located between Houston, the Woodlands, Cypress, and Tomball. It is technically a part of Spring, so you can lump that city into the previous statement. What I love about living here is that I'm only 20 to 30 minutes away from what feels like everything. Some of my favorite shopping centers include the Vintage. So the Vintage has a ton of restaurants, some shopping, a grocery store, a Star Cinema Grill, some dessert spots. I really love Hot Dottie, Shogun, Brie, Peli Peli. The El Tiempo Cantina is probably one of my favorite higher end Mexican restaurants. And then if you go up Luetta a little bit away from 249, you have Black Walnut and an amazing shopping center that houses Whole Foods. And my top restaurants, Bella Green, Torchy's Tacos, and Katsu Bar. And then if you go north quite a bit, where Grand Parkway 99 is, there is a brand new marketplace there. So this shopping center is, like I said, borderline brand new. It houses an amazing Target, a TJ Maxx, a DSW, Warehouse, Burlington, Ross, Michaels, PetSmart, Five Below, Party City, Ulta, Olive Garden, Willie's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Mod Pizza, Chipotle, Potbelly, a really good Mexican restaurant, and so much more. This area is growing like crazy, so you will still see a lot of kind of like farmland, but it is growing. So there are obviously more places to shop in Klein than these two, but these are my favorite and the most popular. So the elementary schools definitely have my heart. The elementary schools are the bread and butter of Klein and Klein ISD. I know how important my children's foundation is, and the elementary schools here have their priorities straight. Between 8 and 3 every single day, my mind is at peace, and I know my children are being loved and cared for. I know the teachers and the staff members are making a huge difference in their lives and a huge, huge difference in their future. I am a bit biased to my kids' school, Tice Elementary School, but I know that almost all of the elementary schools in Klein are at that same level. You have different demographics at each school. Education-wise, as in like some had more preschool than others, so then the teaching style of the teachers might be a little bit different, but they definitely cater to the needs of the children no matter what school they're in. So 3 of my children, soon to be 4, have all attended Tice Elementary School. I have 2 there right now. So I am in love with the pre-K and the kindergarten teachers. I think they're the nicest people I've ever met in my whole entire life, and they have made a huge difference in my life. All of the teachers are awesome, but you know, there's always like 1 or 2 teachers that have that like most special place in your heart, and those are definitely the pre-K and kindergarten teachers for me. We've gotten so lucky every single year, and I think that comes down to Klein ISD knows how to hire their teachers. So Tice and Benegas are the 2 schools within Klein ISD that have received every single designation possible. So I believe those are the top 2 elementary schools, but you also have Hostler, Frank, and Brill, and a handful of other ones that round out the top. So the nature in Klein is amazing. I've kind of already digged into the parks and things like that. But I'm going to give you this bullet point section of reasons why I call Klein home. Low tax rate, amazing school district, close to everything. We don't notice the crime minus the petty usual stuff. Don't leave your car unlocked, you've heard it all. People are very friendly. My child helped me come up with that one because it was on my mind, and then I was like, hey guys, I need some help. What are, help me with my list. And that was the first one. She's 13. That was the first one she said. So the sports are fun and competitive. I know a lot of school districts and a lot of really expensive areas are insanely competitive, but I feel like Klein is really fun and competitive and not quite as competitive as other schools, as in we compete with them and we can hold our own, but it isn't as hard to get on the team as in other areas of Houston. So residents are proud of their local high school football team. A lot of people that do not have kids in football go to attend these games, so they are definitely have large crowds and they are fun to go to. I like how the schools are challenging, but my kids still get to have a life. So I know some years I feel like my kids have more homework, and then the next year they don't. So you just have to voice your opinion, and the teachers are always willing to help you find a perfect balance. I get to walk my kids to and from school. This area feels like home. The parks are fantastic. My kids participate in Klein Soccer Club. Anyone can participate in Klein Soccer Club, but it's local to us, so it only takes us 2 or 3 minutes to get there. I love that I don't have to spend my whole life in my car. So the maturity of the neighborhoods are amazing. I love all the trees. The fact that there's also new construction scattered around Klein is really awesome. The ease to get to the freeways, but how we don't feel too close to them. That was my husband's input. And we are also talking about how it doesn't feel congested even when it's rush hour. So we live so close to the grocery store, and we have perfect side roads. So if we have to go to the grocery store in the evening during rush hour, we don't have any complaints. So the density of quality homes is really high here, and so a lot of solid middle class areas providing quality homes. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are looking for, is, that happy medium. So easy access to many grocery stores, including Whole Foods. I love my neighbors, and then you get more for your money here, as in more square footage for price in the older neighborhoods. My first house was completely remodeled. We bought it, I don't know, 4 years ago or something, 3-4 years ago, for $240, and completely remodeled with a swimming pool. The seller refused to hire a real estate agent, so we kind of got really lucky on that and got it for what we got it for. Our next house, we upsized and spent a little bit more, but we did a completely original house, and it's very large. I will not go in detail because you're probably going to judge me, but know that we have a lot of kids. So I polled my neighborhood, and I really need to expand on this because I have 2 more, but reasons why others call Klein home. So again, I polled my neighbors, and this is what I came up with. Tina says she loves the school and people, and she also said she loved me, so that was cool. Sherry said the schools are why she moved to Klein into Memorial Northwest, because the middle school and elementary school are within the neighborhood, and basically all neighborhood kiddos go to those schools, and again, the kids can walk to both of them. Susan said she liked the fact that Dory and Tice are both in the neighborhood. I think the brand new club and aquatic pool are really drawing people now. Alex said, first of all, obviously Klein ISD. I have 2 boys. One is labeled as twice exceptional and the other is GT. Klein has been working with my twice exceptional on his speech since he was 4. They really seem to care. I don't know a lot of people with special ed kids who moved to Klein because our department for it. I know a lot of people who moved to Klein for the special ed department because Klein is known for being so good. They don't let anyone fall through the cracks. Obviously, I probably need to go, but my son's speech has improved greatly since doing the speech therapy at school. He's almost 8 now. My GT son is 10 at Tice and is in the coding club and Destination Imagination. He's on an award-winning team that consistently goes to state. He's able to learn how to think on his feet, teamwork, and critical thinking skills. Klein ISD is constantly working and improving all of their STEM programs, and we love being a part of them. The neighborhood is well established and pleasant to drive around. All of the houses look different and are not cookie cutter. We have a Whole Foods 5 minutes away. Most people do not have the luxury of having a grocery store so close to them. Vintage Park with all of its offerings, and fairly close to access to Highway 249, Grand Parkway 99, and I-45. This one was one of my favorite, and this is when I decided I was done because this one was so good, but I will obviously come back and add the other 2. So all of this stuff is linked below. If my reading style isn't perfect for you, just mute the video and just come on over here to the blog post. But Greg said, before moving to Klein, we lived deep inside a Cy-Fair ISD, and the school path would take them to, I changed his wording, a high school we didn't prefer. The opportunity presented itself to move, and with my wife having a realtor for a father, we conducted an analysis of where we wanted to live. Maps, map pins, different colored legends, and statistics. Klein ISD seemed to be the best place overall, so the search began. What ended up being our last round of houses to look at, and trust me, we had already looked at a few dozen. We found our current house in Memorial Northwest had come on the market that day. Walking in, it met all of our specifics we were searching for, except it wasn't on a cul-de-sac. It had the magnificent yard for the kids to play in, no pine trees, a standalone study, master bedroom downstairs, a kitchen big enough to keep my cooking skills honed. Not to mention, as far as my wife was concerned, we were 2 miles from her parents who helped with childcare, and 1 mile from her sister. We already knew people in the area, and it seemed to be a perfect fit. We were not the first, however, to make an offer on the house, so we came back with a second offer over asking price and eventually made the purchase. My trip to work in the metropolis was an easy drive considering its location and time of day My travels and my wife's work location became further, but in the end, it has proven to pan out since she was already working as an event planner for the company she now works for full time, and it's 4 stop signs from the house. As my career with the city was coming to an end, my current job with Klein History opened up, and now I am 1.2 miles from work, 6 stops with traffic. Living now in this small knit community, I am constantly reminded and enchanted with how the names we see on the street signs and schools and some businesses are the founding family's names for Klein. There are multiple opportunities to learn about the area and visit with the descendants of what made Klein what it is today. In the 10 short years we have lived here, we are now friends and acquaintances with many times more people we were before. Every extracurricular activity for our kids folded into each other, and the circle of influence they now had to choose from what we dreamed of in the beginning. Our daughter Hannah is now in college prepping to become a teacher and will return to Klein to give back to where she grew up, and we couldn't be more proud. Our son Michael became an Eagle Scout here, a leader in the Klein band, and is currently choosing his path for the future. He says he will be living eventually in California and will buy us a house out there, but I have politely declined, as for me and my family, we choose to stay right here. God has blessed the Klein area and us with friends and opportunities we enjoy and wouldn't have it any other way. So I was blown away by that. Hopefully you stuck through my probably like stuttering, but let's dive into some of the neighborhoods of Klein. So there are many amazing neighborhoods. My client favorites are Champion Forest, Glenlock Farms, Memorial Northwest, Northampton, Spring Creek Forest, and Spring Creek Oaks, as well as Wind Rose. So I did this research a few months back, and a lot of the homes have really increased in price in our area. So a lot of these lists might be empty. Now in the last 2 days, we definitely have gotten a lot more inventory. Like I am like crying excited because I've had 2 clients recently that have lower budgets, and they both picked the Klein area, and I was sending them homes, and I just had so many options. As in before 2 weeks ago, I didn't have any options, and so I'm really excited to see a rush of inventory hit the market. So I'm really excited for things to come, and I got to send these 2 families homes that I felt happy and confident sending to them. They weren't homes that needed a ton of work, and that was really cool to me. So you can see all the reasons for why I picked these schools. Now we had, of course, almost every school is award winning, so once you pick a house, so let's go to Kleinwood. So one of the houses that came on the market, let's bump up a little bit to see this house. So, is it this house? No, a brand new house came on the market. Let me look at the filters and see why maybe the house I'm thinking of is not in this search. I know it should be here. But again, a lot of these, Kleinwood, it was this beautiful house, and I found it last night. This one. So it's $225. It must not have the garage as a 2-car garage or something. Sometimes, so you can see all the private data there. So yeah, it says it has a 1-car garage, but didn't that look like a 2-car garage, y'all? Or was it converted? Maybe part of the garage has been converted. But check out that backyard. This house is $225,000. I was just wowed. I know there's wallpaper and carpet and everything, but this is an amazing house. So, but what I was going to show you, so this data right here that's gray is private data. So I probably should have logged out. But you scroll down to the bottom and you can see the schools. So you have Klein High School, Kleb, and this elementary school here. Now it's listed as C average, but it still has awards, so take that with a grain of salt. Research each individual elementary school. I try to send people to schools that are all A and B, but these are right here, and they're amazing schools in my opinion. But that just shows you how you can see what the schools are for a particular area. But so here are the ones within like lower price points, even though Kleinwood has more expensive homes. And like I said here, homes in that price point go really fast, and obviously when I did the initial search that came to here, you didn't get any results. So feel free to alter any of these searches to fit your needs. I went ahead and covered pretty much all of these tax rates so you can see how to compare each area. So obviously the lower tax rate, the lower your either monthly payment or yearly tax payment will be. So we have 200 plus, and there are some really amazing neighborhoods here. So Memorial Northwest, it's all alphabetical. So this is my neighborhood, and you can see 29 homes for sale. So we have a brand new multi-million-dollar swimming pool complex, tennis courts. It's just amazing. So some of these houses have been on the market for a little while, and if you want to ask me why, I definitely can tell you my opinion. So diving out of that, so maybe you're thinking, what's next? And typically what's next is diving a little bit deeper on the blog or the YouTube, and then you have my cell phone number when you're ready. So feel free to reach out to me, and I hope to help you find a home in Klein or one of these surrounding communities. I hope you have a good day, and I'm sorry if I sound funny. I'm a little under the weather. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.